So for the past year or so, we've been reviewing a lot of electric cars, specifically from China. And while they're functional and they're good, so is an oven toaster. But this time around, I think we found something different, something more bespoke and fitting of a more active and luxurious lifestyle. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing this, the Hongqi EHS7 electric luxury SUV. Now, you might be surprised that I called this huge behemoth of an electric vehicle an SUV, because it most certainly is. I want to give you an idea of how large it is. I usually don't give out numbers with how big a particular car is, but here they go. You got 4,925 millimeters in length
and 1,950 millimeters in width.
If you can't imagine how big that is, its wheelbase of 3,000 millimeters is bigger than a lot of full-sized SUVs in the market today. Imagine that in such a luxurious looking SUV. But anyway, let's start off with how it looks. You got full LED implementation right here in the front. You got your DRLs right here on the top, LED headlamps right here, and of course it also has fog lamps. Don't have a grill, but you do have a cooler right here at the bottom. These are active vents, so when you start running and on the road, it actually opens up depending on your speed in order to cool down the battery, because this thing does not have an engine inside. In fact, underneath this hood you have a frunk. That's right, you don't have an engine, you have a frunk to put all of your stuff in. If you need anything hidden away, you can put it right there. The most distinct thing about the front end of the Hongqi EHS7 is this red stripe in the front of the hood right there, giving it a more distinct appeal. Now, no matter what car, what color you get, you got this red stripe right there, signifying that this is their badge. That's right, this whole stripe is the Hongqi badge right there. Now, this is the part where you will see exactly where I'm telling you about how large this car really is. Up to almost 5 meters in length right here, I'm talking about, and I'm still not in the back of the car yet. I think the way that they built this car is through these wheels. These are huge 21-inch, you heard him right, 21-inch alloy wheels, and the design isn't anything like you've seen in the market today. It still has that aerodynamic look, so it's pretty flat, but it's not boring. I mean, look at that. That certainly looks bespoke to me. Now, the purpose of having black plastic cladding all around the vehicle, in this case right here, is to protect this paint that they got right here. And what a paint job that they put in the EHS7. Now, but the black plastic cladding seems to be coated in paint as well. So I guess that's how luxury people do. They protect this paint with another set of paint, which is interesting. You got 165 millimeters of ground clearance, which doesn't sound like much, but it still classifies this as a crossover SUV. The reason why they didn't make it too high, to make it easier to get in and out of the vehicle. You also got these flush door handles right here on the side, and it's got one of those nifty luxury features where you don't have to slam the door closed. All you got to do is just close it like that, and then it closes softly. There you go. So if you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend who likes to bang the doors closed, tell them that they don't have to. All they got to do is just put it like that, and it shuts itself real nice. It's got a two-tone look, so it gives you this contrasting look overall. Now, I don't usually like how that is when implemented in cars, but the way that the roof actually mimics the color of the black plastic cladding right here gives it a nice appeal overall. And if you're wondering why this design seems to be distinct and different from any other electric Chinese car, is because the design head of this one is Giles Taylor, and he's actually the head designer of Rolls-Royce, and he went over to transfer that expertise with Hongqi in designing the EHS7 right here. Now, further proof that the EHS7 is certainly more than extra, check out those wheels. The tire shod on the wheels right here are Pirelli P0Es, which is probably the best kind of tires you can put on any electric vehicle at the moment. Plus, those are 255/45 R21s and 275/40 R21s right here in the back. So you got a staggered setup to ensure maximum traction and grip for the vehicle. Later on in the drive, I'll show you exactly how that works with the EHS7. Let's take a look at the back and see what we can find. This is where you'll see your first clue on what particular car this is. You'll see the Hongqi typography right here and the EHS7 badge with HME. Now, we've seen light bars before in cars, but nothing as ornate as this one right here. You got some dots right here at the bottom of the entire light bar, as well as the LED tail lamps right here. Pretty nice. You also have this particular feature. This is the rear fog lamp. You got a nice chunky spoiler right there on top. It also has a nice electronic power tailgate feature, giving you access to all this space. One of the benefits of having a long wheelbase and in a five-seater like this one is that even though you've got a lot of space there for your passengers, you still have a lot of space for all your stuff. You got this 12-volt socket right here, compartments for all of your stuff, your batteries and your tools. But I like how the entire back is lined in this nice soft material and how low the loading floor is so that you can put in all of your stuff on the inside. Perfect for family trips, especially out of town. Now, you might be asking, why would you take an electric vehicle out of town? That's exactly what I'm going to show you later on. Let me just start off by telling you about how I feel about the interior of the Hongqi EHS7. And I have to say, I've never seen this type of attention to detail inside of any electric Chinese car before, because I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. You've got real leather on the inside, from the door panels to the seats right here, and even the steering wheel. And check this out. You actually don't have some piano black trims. Instead, you get this real grain wood right here on the dashboard, as well as on the center console and the outboard armrest. It's simply it's simply elegant in a way that I'm glad that Hongqi was able to give us these amenities and price it as such. I'm going to tell you more about the price later on. The steering wheel has this square shape to it. Now, at first when I saw it, I was iffy and like, what is that? But once I start using it, I suddenly feel that it's very intuitive and very ergonomic as well. I mean, you have to put your hands on the 10 and 2 or in the 9 and 3 position, and in that position, it just works perfectly. Plus, it is adjustable for reach and rake, but you can adjust it using this joystick right here. You've got a huge 15.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system with both wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It blasts tunes through 19 speakers all in all, and it sounds amazing. I've mentioned before, and I'm going to say this again, I am not an audiophile myself, but I know what I like, and I like this. Even if I max the volume out to a particular level, the bass doesn't sound broken. And you can hear the highs, and sometimes with cheap speakers, I actually cut the mids, but in here, it sounds like an orchestra on the inside. No pun, no exaggeration at all. You also have this huge 40-inch heads-up display. It actually projects a huge 40-inch display right there, and you can actually adjust the display, its brightness, its position, and all that. And I think with the Hongqi EHS7's over-the-air updates, you can actually activate that for more settings in the future. Imagine putting augmented reality things right there, like getting to see a car right there, alerting you of obstacles on the road. The possibilities are endless for this vehicle. And if you notice something, you got a huge glass roof on the top. You got a digital gauge cluster right here in the middle, giving you all the information that you need. And let me go back to the screen. On the screen, you actually get to control a lot of the settings, but below the screen, that's where you find some capacitive buttons for your air conditioner. So no need to dig through different menu settings right here just to control your aircon. You can do it right there, but you can actually control more for the air conditioning here. Check out the vents. Notice that the vents actually do not have toggle switches on them. You control the vents on the screen right here. You can actually direct the wind where you want to, and it gives you a visualizer where the wind is going to. So if you want to blast the wind on your face, or if I need to cool down Izer right here, is holding down the camera, There you go. That's actually no problems. I like how that works out. So it's dual automatic climate control, and you can actually control the seat functions here as well. You got heated and ventilated seats, plus a massage function. Right there at the bottom, you've got a nice charging pad. It's a fast wireless charger, and you got what I call a fragrance orb. So, so you can control that fragrance orb to the screen here. You got two fragrances, fragrance one and fragrance two. So I can't. I'm not really good with detecting types of smells. I just know that it smells really good on the inside. Now, a couple of more things about the screen here. You have this feature called Qi Enjoy or Qi Enjoy. I don't know how to read Chinese, but you got different settings here for the air conditioning. You got rain and shelter. So I guess if it's raining outside and you don't want to drive off, you can actually turn it on right here. You got doze mode. So if you want to sleep on the inside of the EHS7, there are some times where you actually have to wait on inside your car, probably waiting on your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Go ahead and inside here, you can activate that. There's baby mode. Baby mode actually quiets down the air conditioning right here, turns off the ambient light right there in the back, and it's a great feature, especially for you families out there who have smaller children and want to quiet them down real nice. You got fresh air mode, refreshing. Pet care mode is also one of the more interesting features of the EHS7. So sometimes you got to leave your pet on the inside if you want to go out on a quick errand. Just activating pet care mode will leave the car on even after locking your car. And if you're worried about finishing off your battery because of this particular mode, it's actually going to turn off after if it goes down below 30%. So if your charge is close to 30%, don't turn that on or your pet will suffer. It also gives out this nice notification on the screen saying my owner will be back soon, so don't you worry. Another feature here is car wash mode. So if you want to turn that on while they're washing your car on the outside, you can. And there's even a smoking removal function, which opens up just a little bit of the front window here and then the rear to expel all of the smoke. Because sometimes, they understand that you do need to smoke, but don't do it inside a car. Come on. Anyway, not to judge. So you got a camera right here on the driver's side A pillar that detects your movement. And if it detects that you're not paying attention to the road, this thing's going to alert you. And then you've got even more functions right here. You got your lights right here on the side. It's a capacitive type, so it gives you a sound whenever you activate and deactivate it. Your windshield wiper is here on the left, and on your right, the stalk is for shifting. So if you need to go to D, Park, R, and PR and D here, you could just activate that right there. It's very easy and very intuitive, and I like it. One quirk that the car has, though, is that the buttons on the steering wheel, they're complete, but they're not actual buttons. They're capacitive buttons and gives you a certain haptic feedback once you activate it. So you got your haptic feedback right here. I can feel some vibration as I put the volume up and down. Gives you the same features, and you got a custom button right there. The custom button right here, in this case, it activates the different drive modes. See, there it is. But you can actually change it right here on the screen as well. This multifunction screen is really just something else. It even has a 360-degree camera system, so you're definitely safe on the inside of the EHS7. That is a nice system, by the way. The camera system is clear, even at night. It uses a high megapixel camera and can even see underneath the vehicle as well, which is pretty nice touch. One final feature that we have I want to show you is the automatic parking function. Yes, this car has automatic parking. It removes all the stress from parking. So all you got to do is activate it and then drive along. It's going to detect and see if we can find any open parking spaces, and it's going to tell you if there's an open parking space. Once it does, just click on that parking space and let the car do its magic. It is an amazing feature indeed. So the seats here, by the way, are just something else. This is a 12-way adjustable seat for the driver. Which goes forward and back, up and down, and the lumbar right here works as well. So they got your lumbar support settings, and apart from all that, also adjusts the side seating right here, the bolsters. That's something. And for the passenger, it's 10-way adjustable. Now, one quirk that we find on the car here is that the door handle, there's actually no door handles right here. There's a button, so all you gotta do is just press on that button and it opens the car up. And once you do open the car up, it actually extends the seats back, so it makes getting in and out of the car easy. But you don't have to worry because this also has memory function. So once you set the memory function right here, there are two memory functions. It doesn't just adjust the seat, it also adjusts your steering wheel on the last setting that you had it on. Okay, there are a lot of features that we have in the inside of the EHS7, but this time I want to see what we have on the back. I'm sure that there are some settings there and some features there that you would appreciate, so let's go ahead. All right, so right here, the second row seats of the Hongqi EHS7. I'm surprised because the seats right here, they're set for my own particular driving position, which is laid back and leaned as well. But the way the space that we have right here, it's as if I have the seats pushed forward because of all this space on the inside. The seats on the back are nice and plush, by the way. This is a nice seat to be in. Although there's no power operating feature, there's no massage function, the air conditioning in the back is absolutely very comfortable. Plus you got a flat floor as well, which is surprising for an all-wheel drive vehicle. But let's talk about the drive later on. You have the same leather right here on the door cards, same wood grain trim here. And even if you don't have massage function, you do have a heating function here for your for your convenience. And one neat, nifty feature here is that you got your phone holder right here at the back of the headrest of the front seat, which is nice. You can just go ahead and doom scroll all you want on your phone right here in the back. There's no problems. You even have some map pockets right here for your convenience. Two USB ports, one USB-A and one USB-C. The USB-C is a fast charger. And you got a center armrest right here in the middle as well with its own cubby hole and two cup holders right there in the middle. Just nice. All right. One thing about sitting right here on the second row seats is that what's the opposite of claustrophobia? Because you've got this huge expanse of space right here, and even though the sun is shining on the outside, I don't feel too much heat on the inside at all because of the cold air conditioning. I like it. I mean, it's definitely something that I would be sitting in during those long trips. It's very comfortable, but this is more, in my opinion, more of a driver's car. So we'll be checking out how this drives on our driving section, and let me tell you how this works out later and see how it works out with, especially with that extended range and that huge battery. Spoiler alert. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the Hongqi EHS7. You've got two electric motors right here in this car. You got one for the front wheels and another for the rear wheels. What's important is the power it makes. It makes 310 horsepower. Hold on, that's not 310 horsepower. The 330 horsepower. The 330 horsepower is for the entry-level executive variant. This bad boy right here makes 610 horsepower. That's right, 610 horsepower in an executive SUV is just insane. And you haven't even heard of what torque it makes. It makes 756 Newton meters of torque. Basically, it's got even more torque than those large 16-wheeler trucks on the road right now. So you can only imagine the 0 to 100 speed. But, well, you no longer need to imagine. 0 to 100 in this bad boy makes 3.9 seconds, which is almost in supercar territory. It's unfathomable. But the thing about the EHS7 is that despite the power, despite the speed, it's very quiet on the inside. All right, so right now we got two electric motors right here, 610 horsepower, and we're gonna give it a quick acceleration test, of course, within the speed limit here. So we'll slow down, and then let's hit it. Let's jump in. Oh no! I was not ready for that.
I wasn't ready either.
See, even Iser wasn't ready for that. It was just too much torque, too much power. But that's the thing. I like how the engine, the accelerator pedal, basically the computer of the system, regulates that power. around around traffic, urban confines, you can modulate the accelerator pedal. But if you need that power, I'm going to do it right now. If you need that power, it can give you that power if you need to. I've always believed that that current models, current electric cars in the market right now, seem to be holding back a little bit from giving us all the power that we want out of the electric motor, because they can basically give you all the power that you can ask of it, but they're trying to hold back the speed, the power, because they're trying to save on the battery. Well, right now, you know where it's at. We're going to talk about the battery and the range. The battery right here of the Hongqi EHS7, it's a 111 kilowatt hour battery. It's basically the biggest battery right now in the market, and that can net you in this car
540 kilometers in a single charge.
just basically going up to Baguio and back without having to recharge, or having to recharge of course along the way, but you don't have to worry about range anxiety anymore in this thing. Despite the fact that it's a fully electric vehicle, you get a ton of range from the EHS7. And charging isn't going to be a problem too, because it's got AC and DC fast charging. With DC fast charging, in just a few minutes of charging, you can get a lot of kilometers from what you need. And despite the fact that we're at 50% earlier, while before shooting this, we're now at 45% because of all the idling and all the testing. Still have 211 kilometers worth of range, and I'm not compelled to charge this thing at all. If we usually when we test out vehicles, especially electric cars, there's some anxiety within me knowing that hey Isaac, can you turn off the car because I need to get home, I need to get to a charger. But with this one, there's no anxiety at all. I can finally say that this is probably the first step towards having an electric car with a huge battery in it, where you don't have to worry about range anxiety. So this one, if you want to buy a car and not have to worry about where to charge your vehicle, this just might be your best bet, and I like this. So despite the fact that you've got a 3,000 millimeter wheelbase, the turning radius is still quite respectable, which just undercuts exactly what type of car this is. This one is made for utmost comfort. The NVH levels in the EHS7 is definitely in luxury car territory. You know how I usually say that it's good, but it's not great. This is great. Helped out by soundproof windows, great insulation on the outside and the inside here. You basically isolate yourself from the outside world. And because thanks to the simulated engine sounds that we just activated right here, that's the only sound that we are hearing right now. In fact, yeah, nothing from the outside world. Even with the motorcycles passing by, that's just insane. And let's talk about the suspension first. The suspension, you don't have McPherson struts up front. You've got the good kind, the expensive kind, the double wishbone kind right there in the front, double wishbone suspensions, and a multi-link suspension in the back. So all in all, overall, it's a great feeling. You can handle through ruts on the road like a champ, despite the fact that you've got 21-inch wheels. It still feels very comfortable on the inside. Very minimal road noise because of those high-end tires. And basically just great sound insulation all in all. Vibration, what vibration? You don't get vibration anywhere here, just a simulated kind too, because when you activate the sound simulation system here, it also mimics the type of engine that it's trying to simulate here, and giving a little bit of vibration here on the steering wheel. But to be honest, truth be told, let's turn it off right now. There really is no sound coming from the inside. Freaky. Now, one thing about having this type of luxury car, yes, I'm definitely designating this as a luxury car because of how it drives, how it performs, and how it feels and how it sounds, is that you can get this type of level of luxury, this type of level of refinement on the inside without having to break the bank. I'm going to tell you what the price is later on, but I never thought in my entire lifetime I would be able to experience something like this, even though that that this something like this can be this attainable. All in all, I like how the build quality is here in the Hongqi EHS7. You'll have to experience it to believe me. But right now, I'm telling you, right now, you've got luxury car levels of refinement here on the inside. Refinement is probably be the key word that I'm going to put on right here. It's amazing. There's got a complete suite of safety features here. So basically traction control, stability control, sure, all that, airbags, ABS, electronic brake distribution. But the advanced driver assist system suite here is staggering. First of all, you got a surround view camera, 360-degree camera, all in all, with a great resolution here on the screen. You even have lane keep assist, lane departure warning, forward collision mitigation system, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring system, and even this one. I spoke about this earlier in our interior talk. This is the camera. It tries to recognize your face. It detects if you are not giving much attention to the road ahead of you, and alerts you right away that, hey, put your phone down, keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. Now, it's got level 2 autonomous driving. So what level 2 is basically adaptive cruise control. It can adjust your speed accordingly on the highway, and even has traffic jam assist. So in a jam like this one here, we're in a traffic jam, setting up the adaptive cruise control here will detect that you are in a traffic jam, and it's only going to move when the car in front of you starts to move, like this one here. I didn't start to initiate it, but it started moving, and I'm going to take control of it right now. It just helps out with easing your easing the stress of driving and adding a little bit more joy to the driving. All right, so to sum it all up, who is the EHS7 made for? I bet this is definitely made for the type of family man that wants to buy an electric vehicle without any compromises, who wants to take your family and friends out on long road trips without having to worry about charging, and of course who wants to be different. You don't want to buy an appliance, you don't want to buy a smartphone with all the apps, you just want a great driving vehicle with great power, with great handling. You don't want to buy an appliance. Basically, this is who it's made for. But which leads me to the price of the vehicle, and you'd be surprised with all of the comfort amenities here and of all the features. The price, well, that's a totally valid question. So I came into this review skeptical about the Hongqi EHS7. I mean, if I wanted to get an electric vehicle, I could probably be spending for something way lower. But at the starting price of 2,580,000 pesos, at this particular model for 3,080,000 pesos, I think you better give this a second look. With the power, that range, with all the amenities and features, and all of the features that they put in right here, they did not skimp on what they want to give you, especially for that price range. You would think that it would be a steal. And yes, that range alone, being able to go out of town without ever thinking about range anxiety, is a cure all in all. But what do you think? Drop me a comment in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. Thanks for watching. This has been Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I'll see you guys next time.